On a cloudless Tuesday morning, Dr. Simone Carter, the billionaire CEO of tech giant Novamind Solutions, adjusted her sleek leather bag on her shoulder and strode through the gleaming corridors of Reynolds International Airport. Her life had been a blueprint of excellence. Raised in the heart of Atlanta, double degrees from MIT and Harvard, Forbes' most powerful woman in business 3 years in a row. Today, she was boarding a first-class flight to New York, where she was set to finalize a groundbreaking $4 billion partnership with Stratton Airlines, a deal poised to redefine global travel tech. But before she could even fasten her seatbelt, the storm was already brewing. Security officers approached her at the gate just as boarding wrapped up, their eyes darting with discomfort. Without explanation, 2 guards requested that she step off the plane. Passengers murmured, craning their necks to witness the spectacle unfolding at the front. Simone, poised yet visibly confused, calmly asked, "Is there a problem?" The only answer was a cold hand on her elbow. The cabin fell silent. No manager appeared. No captain intervened. No apology was offered. She was escorted back into the jet bridge like a criminal. And when she demanded an explanation, she was given a flimsy excuse about random security protocols, despite the fact that she had passed through multiple screenings without issue. Beneath her impeccable designer blazer, her heart hammered, not from fear, but fury. She could feel the old ugly monster of systemic bias breathing down her neck, dressed up today as routine checks. Every eye on the plane watched her, some with sympathy, many with indifference. Back in the terminal, her phone buzzed incessantly. Texts from her team, her attorneys, even the Stratton Airlines CEO himself, who had no idea yet what ticking bomb had just been lit under his own company. Simone's fingers moved with mechanical precision as she documented everything: the officers' names, the timestamps, the gate numbers. Her mind wasn't scrambling. It was calculating. In the realm of power, timing was everything. And she would wait, just long enough to make sure the blow would land where it hurt the most. An assistant manager finally stumbled up to her, stuttering apologies about heightened security measures. But the damage was already done. Dr. Carter stared through him as if he were made of glass. In that moment, she wasn't just a CEO. She wasn't just a black woman made to feel small in an airport full of corporate suits. She was a force of reckoning wrapped in velvet steel. With an icy nod, she accepted a useless travel voucher and declined their offer to rebook her on a later flight. She wasn't going to New York today. Not to sign their papers. Not to save their brand. As she exited the airport into the blazing morning sun, she made a silent vow. Reynolds International wouldn't just lose a customer today. Stratton Airlines was about to lose $4 billion, and maybe their future. By the next sunrise, the corporate world had caught fire. Simone Carter didn't call Stratton Airlines' boardroom. She didn't text their CEO. She went public. A single devastating post on her verified social media account told the story. How she, a ticketed, first-class passenger and major investor, had been humiliated, detained, and disrespected without cause. She wrote not with anger, but with surgical precision, naming no names, making no wild accusations, simply stating cold facts against a backdrop of centuries of mistreatment. Within hours, the post garnered over 22 million views, and hashtag #StandWithSimone began trending worldwide. Major news outlets picked it up before breakfast was even served. Stratton's stock price dipped by mid-morning. Investors panicked. Sponsors called emergency meetings. Inside Stratton's glass towers, executives scrambled like ants in a burning anthill. The CEO, Richard Langford, called Simone's team frantically, leaving voicemails dripping with apologies and promises of corrective action. But Simone didn't answer. Novamind's legal department issued a terse press release by noon. Effective immediately, Novamind Solutions is withdrawing from all current and pending engagements with Stratton Airlines, including the proposed $4 billion strategic technology partnership. The language was cold, final, irrevocable. Stratton Airlines wasn't just losing a tech deal. They were losing access to AI-enhanced logistics, next-gen booking systems, carbon-neutral infrastructure partnerships, the very innovations that would have launched them 10 years ahead of the competition. As media trucks camped outside the airline's headquarters and public outrage ballooned, Stratton's board moved to oust 2 top executives by the following week. PR teams worked overtime issuing apologies that sounded hollow against the roar of social media condemnation. But it was too late. Other companies began severing ties, wary of associating their brands with a company now synonymous with casual racism at the executive level. Internal memos leaked, revealing just how unprepared Stratton had been for the storm Simone Carter unleashed. Meanwhile, Dr. Carter remained silent for days, an absence that spoke louder than any televised interview. When she finally did speak, it was not to the press, but to a crowded summit of world leaders and CEOs at the Global Innovation Forum. Standing tall in an elegant crimson suit, she delivered a speech titled, "Respect is not negotiable." Without ever raising her voice, she dismantled the myth that diversity was a luxury in corporate spaces, arguing that it was a requirement for survival. She spoke not just for herself, but for the countless others who didn't have the microphone or the means to walk away with billions still in their grasp. The standing ovation lasted 7 full minutes. Weeks later, Stratton Airlines filed for bankruptcy, citing irreparable reputational harm and lost partnerships. Analysts would call it the most expensive case of racial bias in aviation history. And Simone Carter? She signed a $6 billion deal with Stratton's fiercest competitor, and made sure the contract included a clause guaranteeing executive diversity training across all departments. In the end, she didn't just pull $4 billion. She changed the rules of the game. Forever.